What is going on, party people? Welcome back to the Block Party. I am Voices of, and today we are doing yet another Last of Us TV show review. I know, the last episode I said I was going to drop this come Saturday because it was releasing on Friday. Well, the state that I live in really does suck sometimes. So allergies kicked in. I didn't have a voice for 2 whole days. Like nothing. So, I got it back now. Here it comes. I'm also glad that I got to sit back a little bit with this one, because this was one of the hardest episodes to watch, I think. We are introduced to Henry and Sam at the end of the last episode. Henry and Sam are brothers. The youngest, Sam, he's deaf, and his older brother is kind of his protector. They are being hunted because they were collaborators, they were collaborators with Fedra. So this new group that took over after Fedra wants to get rid of them because they don't want them anywhere near the community. Joel and Ellie agree to work with these two people only for the sake of getting out of the city. We learn a little bit more about Henry and Sam. Sam had leukemia when he was younger. Henry wanted to get the medicine because they had medicine that worked, which I need a little more on that. I understand. I completely understand. Like, this is the my I don't know, mushroom apocalypse. Let's just say that. Fungal apocalypse. Fungopolis? No. It's the apocalypse. I understand not going in depth on this, but the fact that they were like, yeah, they had medicine that helps with the leukemia. If that was chemotherapy, I feel like they should have said that, because now I'm like, it kind of sparked me like, okay, what kind of medicine did they have for this? That was just something, like a quick little thing that I wanted to add, because it was something that made me question. But Henry turns in, the brother of the crazy chick leading the resistance, turns him into Fedra, and Fedra kills him. That's why he's really being hunted. It's not necessarily they were just collaborators. It's the fact that he did that to, who was the leader at that point. We get to know a little bit more about Perry. I didn't realize this the first time around until I actually heard it again. Perry, the guy that's playing him, the actor, is actually the voice actor for Tommy in the game. Pretty cool. I liked that they did that. I don't think they've done that with anything else necessarily, but it was a very nice detail to add. I love and hate Neil Druckmann. He's the writer for this, because I flipped back and forth like a coin on this whole episode. There were parts where I was on Henry and Sam's side. There were parts where I was on the other side. There were parts where I saw a human from Henry and Sam, parts where I saw a human from the others. The ending set me to what side I wanted to be on. I was on the side of Henry and Sam, obviously. We probably saw the best representation of how horrible the quote-unquote zombies are in this type of world when they're in the suburbs. They finally got out of the city. They had been hunted by this new group. They get out there. Somebody's taking pot shots at them up from a really high house, like the 2nd or 3rd story. Joel swings around back, goes and kills the guy, but then the radio comes on where you hear Kathleen go over the radio and say, we're only a couple of minutes out. You just hold them there. They pull up. It looks, I genuinely thought Kathleen was going to kill Henry. I really did. That's not what happens. The house across the street from where they're all talking falls in, and it's just hordes of clickers, runners, stalkers, zombies, everything is pouring out. And we see a bloater. These are insane. They can't be stopped, essentially. Perry was running through his ammo on this thing and nothing. And it did kill Perry. Everybody gets away. Kathleen dies. Fantastic. Now, those were like minor spoilers, I'm going to say, just because the characters weren't too prevalent. However, this is where the spoilers really kick in. The hardest part about watching this episode was we are seeing a parallel of protector and protectee I don't know if that's the right term, but we're seeing a parallel between those with Henry and Sam and Joel and Ellie. Ellie and Sam are connecting on a really good level. He obviously has a language barrier, but they have this really cool like etch-a-sketch way for him being able to write. So after all the chaos, they finally get to this hotel. They're all sitting down. There's a little bit of a connection that's being made between Joel and Henry. It's kind of clicking in his head of like, okay, we made it out with these people, like they're good people, we're gonna be okay. Then in the bedrooms, Ellie and Sam are reading comics, and Sam, I hate even thinking about this. I really do, because it's so well written. It's in the game. I've completely forgot about these two from the game. 100%. I did not know what was gonna happen. I'm mad because I feel like if I would have been prepared, then this wouldn't have been so much. But Sam pulls up his pant leg and he had got bit. In a last-ditch effort, Ellie cuts her hand because she believes that, everyone has told her from the get-go that she has the cure. Like, she is the cure. So her brain, her rationale is just, if I can get my blood into him, then it'll be okay. Fortunately, she goes to bed. Well, they say that they're going to stay up. She falls asleep, wakes back up, and Sam had turned. Sam attacks Ellie. They fall out into the room that Joel and Henry are at. Henry picks up the gun and shoots towards Joel. It's a warning shot, because at first I was like, no, we're not gonna do this. He does a warning shot because he doesn't want Joel to do anything to his brother. Henry takes the gun, shoots Sam after a moment of realization, then puts one into himself. It was so hard to watch that. It was so hard to see someone realize that everything leading up to that moment had been centered around saving that person, and to know that that person wasn't saved, there wasn't a reason to continue. It was so dark. This show is a realistic show. I know it's hard to say that when it's a apocalypse show, but it's realistic, it's relatable, because they are humans, and it's not they're acting like Hollywood heroes. It's not they're acting like Hollywood villains. They're acting like humans. And it's so tough to see it, because there are ways that you look at it and you see a parallel of your type of mentality compared to their type of mentality. You find out that the reason why this group, and this is probably going to get into trigger warning territory, so if you're sensitive to certain topics that have to do with abuse or anything along those lines, you can probably hop out, because this is a dark episode. It's a very deep episode, and I'm not going to pull it back, because if you're wanting someone's opinions, I'm going to give you the opinions that I have on the entirety of the episode. But we find out that the people that were in charge of Fedra in this city were like, they were beating people, they were raping people, they were killing people, like they were scum. They were doing heinous things. And it even shows a quick flashback of when they took it over from Fedra, and when they were taking the Fedra people, they were chopping their heads off, they were hanging them like on nooses, burning them at the stake. It was so insane, because you think, never, like, when you saw that, you just thought, why on earth is this the response to it? And then when they say what had happened, 20 years of dealing with Fedra acting like that, 20 years of having an oppression from something like that over and over countlessly in the community, it takes a toll on that community, to where when the resistance and when the revolution happens, they don't see. They've been pushed so far against the occupying force that they start acting like the occupying force. Again, it's fantastic writing. It's just so hard to watch sometimes. This episode, at the end, after Sam and Henry had both passed, Joel buried both of them. Ellie is just shut off. Ellie is getting shut off. She doesn't want anything to do with her emotions. She doesn't want to become aware. She wants to be free of this whole situation. And it's hard because when you see the stark differences of her from the first and second episode to this one, how jokingly she was responding to things in like the hotel, how she was responding to things in the museum and the mall, and then we get to this point where she just witnessed two people that they were very close to, die in front of them in heinous ways. And she's just like, you know what, we need to power through it. We need to get through it. It's very tough. I commend HBO for putting this into a live action narrative. I just didn't realize that it would actually take so much of a toll. All in all, I'm gonna say this one is probably, although it was the hardest to watch, this was probably one of my favorites. This is getting a 9.8 for me. It's getting a 9.8 because the quote-unquote, I'm going to say the protagonist and antagonist swapped back and forth multiple times because my brain kept thinking, I understand why they did it. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it whatsoever, but I understand why they're doing this. I understand why they're doing that. I understand what's going on. And when a show is able to do that with some of its characters and you're able to connect with them, not on a this is my type of reality level, but on a emotional level of, if I was in that situation, would I make the same choices or would I change my choices? We can't even think about it, but we understand the rationale behind it. It's fantastic writing. That is all of my thoughts on The Last of Us episode 5. I don't know what they're going to do with the next episode. I don't even want to predict anything because I just want to experience it. It's back to normal scheduled times. So you'll get it on Monday morning, hopefully, if the weather isn't ridiculous and I lose my voice again. That is all. I am Voices of. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you felt about this episode and how it made you feel. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you in the next one.